Good afternoon and welcome to the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee meeting, Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. We've called the meeting to order and we will now ask for any identified conflicts of interest. Anybody have anything they want to proclaim? If not, we'll move on to citizen comments. I see nothing but staff members and elected officials in the audience. No citizen comments. We'll go up from there. Next up is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda tonight, we have the minutes of the June 18th, 2024 meeting, bills and payroll, monthly position control report, report of personnel actions, treasurer's reports for April and May. Is there anybody who wants to comment or needs to comment on those?
Move to approve.
Moved by Barso to approve, second by Andy. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. And it passes unanimously. The first order of business on the regular agenda is a request to recommend council approval to refill vacant position of the office coordinator in Parks and Recreation Department, presented by Justin Gasperson. Justin, the floor is yours.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Abby Bessler is resigning from her position in our department as a full-time office coordinator after 5 years of service with the city. Abby's last day of work will be Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. On behalf of the Park and Recreation Department as well as the city, I want to thank Abby for her commitment and dedication to the community as well as the residents of Marshfield. Abby is our only office coordinator and she works out of the 2nd Street Community Center office. The position responsibilities include the following, but they're not limited to: provides frontline interaction with the public, collects and reconciles daily, monthly deposits, reports and spreadsheets, receives and conveys information to and from the public to city personnel, processes incoming and outgoing mail, rentals, reservations, program information, orders and maintains the office supplies, maintains and updates paper and electronic filing systems, invoices, past accounts, coordinates and compiles maintenance staff daily sheets, processes program and facility registrations, opens and closes the office, maintains accurate records for the department receipts and revenues, compiles and organizes the facility calendars. She maintains and supervises ball field reservations and schedules, inventories and sells discount tickets to local area attractions, updates and maintains the department website and processes seasonal and part-time tax employment forms, and many, many other things. Like any department in the city, the office coordinator is our main hub on communicating information from the public and to staff and back and forth. And so I make recommendation to approve the filling of the office coordinator position with the Park and Recreation Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Tompkins, second by Barso. To approve. Discussion?
Mr. Regal.
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question here, Mr. Casperson. Do we know why Ms. Bessler is leaving by any chance?
She's leaving for more money for a local company in Marshfield.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Natasha?
Abby's always been so helpful whenever I've gone in to sign up for any program. So just please relay that we appreciate all the work she's done.
I will.
Any further question? If not, we have a motion and a second on the floor to fill this position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I think that's unanimous, correct? Okay. All right. Next up is the request to recommend council approval of budget resolution 09-2024, police building security upgrades, and payment for fire engine number 4. Jennifer Solinsky, what have you got for us?
Good evening. Both of these items were pulled forward in our borrowing schedule and approved to be borrowed for, which we included in the sale of our notes on the 9th of July. This resolution just formalizes the expense accounts and allows us to deposit those proceeds from the sales of the bonds and to make the related payments for expenditures. So with that, I would recommend that the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee recommend Common Council approval of Budget Resolution 09-2024 to increase the budget of Public Safety Capital Outlay Fund for safety improvements and payment of fire engine number 4. And the total of those would be $946,100.
What are your pleasure?
Move to approve.
Moved by Varsho, second by
Second.
Andy. Okay. Discussion? We've basically already approved this thing, so we're just making the accounting work.
Correct.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
So carried. Okay, request to recommend council authorization to renew agreement with BMO Harris Bank and Montreal Bank, presented by Jennifer Selinsky.
All right, so back in 2018, the city entered into an agreement with BMO Harris Bank for its P-card services. This is a program, it's more efficient to make our small dollar amount purchases, and it reduces the number of vendors in the vendor master and checks and payments process. So authorized individuals throughout the city have been issued a P-card and make their small dollar purchases on that. If the city achieves an agreed upon spending level during a given contract year, the city is eligible to receive a rebate. So far, the city has received rebates under this program of $55,826 since 2020, and is expecting this current year's rebate of $15,359. The reporting software integrates with BMO, and the procedures to process the monthly credit card statement are easy to use and work well for all of us. If the city spends $1.5 million on the program, we can receive a rebate of 1.68% for standard transactions. And if it's 0.73% for international, and then data rate 3 transactions are at 0.55%, which are large ticket items. Now, this is a little slight decrease from our existing contract where that amount was 0.68%, but as they look at the spending, they give us a rebate that's appropriate given their expenditures to process those. New for this contract is also a lower spending tier of $1 million. So if we can't quite reach that 1.5 million, we wouldn't be eligible for a rebate. So they have offered us a lower tier in this contract, and that would be at 1.2% for standard transactions. The new term, or the term for this new contract will be retroactively dated to May of 2024 and automatically renews for 2 consecutive 1-year periods with the same terms of condition. With that, I would recommend that the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee recommend Common Council approval to authorize the Finance Director to execute the attached agreement with BMO Harris for P-card services.
Move to approve.
Motion by Tompkins, second by
Second.
Varsho. Discussion? Go ahead, Natasha.
If we don't reach the $1 million of spending, do we get any sort of rebate?
No, and we did that. A $1.5 million tier was in place for this past cycle, and we did meet it. They just added that as an extra incentive in case circumstances changed.
And when the rebate is applied, does it go to our general fund?
General fund.
One more question. Sometimes I've noticed around town in different places, if we're using a credit card, there is a credit card fee. Have you run into that where the fee is more than what we're getting in the rebate?
No, this would be net of that's all factored into the amount of the rebate. So it's a net number remitted back to us.
Anybody else? You have one?
Nope, Andy does.
Okay. Just one thing I wanted to ask was, what do we have in the way of audit for that? How do we know the expenditures are legit and how who does it and how to, just a brief explanation, please.
Sure. Everyone who's authorized to incur expenditures on a P card has to submit the receipt for that transaction. The system, when it integrates, it gives every user their list of transactions processed. The user has to then attach a receipt. Those are then approved by that individual's manager. And from there, then they run through the payroll system or the payable system and are paid.
Anything? Excuse me, Annie, go ahead.
No, you're all good. Hey, just a couple questions here. So, first of all, and I might have misheard here, so that's what I'm asking. Is this de minimis spending, or is this just regular spending that we spend with a credit card?
It can include regular spending. For example, we can pay our audit services with our P card, our waste management services. It's for de minimis spending when people are out traveling, or for, oftentimes it's just easy to go to Amazon and pick your purchase for office supplies or whatever minor expense that departments have.
Okay, so it's not locked into one or the other. You can use it for both de minimis and just regular spending as well.
Yes.
Gotcha. And then with that 1 million and 1.5, is that per cycle or is that per year?
It's per cycle, so it doesn't line up with a calendar year, just because we entered into the original agreement in April. So our cycles is kind of, that mid-year, April to March kind of term.
Okay. And then just out of curiosity here, so if the initial term here is for 2 years and then an automatic renewal twice of 1 year, why isn't it just a 4-year contract?
This contract just renews twice for 1-year periods, and it's because they analyze that rebate amount that they're giving us. So they'll offer us these same terms, and then they want a chance to go back and analyze all the data spending points and make sure that the rebate they're offering is appropriate for them. So we did have that minor change in the large ticket items where they adjusted the rebate down. So that gives them the opportunity to do those adjustments.
Okay, so they could modify it after the 2 years are up, and then after the third year is up, they could modify it if need be.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? If not, are you ready to vote? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried
Thank you.
unanimously. Okay, next up is, let's see, request to recommend council approval of human resources business partner job description and authorize filling of positions. Sarah, that's yours.
Thank you. So this request is regarding a new position within the Human Resources Department. During the compensation study, we did look at needs in various departments as far as maybe adding a level up or things like that. So for example, with the planning department, we did add a senior planner level in there, which actually we're working on filling right now. This would be an additional one to that, but within the Human Resources Department. So in 2022, just to give a little bit of a background, when I started here, the model was to have a director and then an administrative specialist / HR assistant. Amy Krugman had that position, and the position was really split between human resources and then the city administrator and mayor. So in looking with Steve, and actually back when Jennifer Raiku was in my position, she had already started to look ahead at an HR generalist position. So she had put forth the HR generalist role, and then I slightly modified it and presented it, and it was approved. And once Amy retired, then we backfilled her position. Well, we decided not to backfill her position and instead fill the HR generalist role. So since the addition of the HR generalist role, we have not backfilled and have no intentions of backfilling that HR assistant / administrative specialist position. Instead, a lot of the administrative tasks were transitioned over to the clerk department or other various departments. So really, all of the HR duties were transitioned into that HR generalist role and then kind of expanded upon. So since we have done that, and now that the position has been filled for over a year, I think, and in talking with Steve, I think even Jennifer Raku in the position prior had thoughts of adding an additional layer dependent upon growth, changes in law, things like that. Now that we've had the HR generalist role for a year, a little over a year, there's definitely a need to have an elevated role. The intention would not be to have an additional headcount. Instead, it would be to have a position available to be filled as either a backfill. So if our current HR generalist were to leave and we would be looking to elevate the position, we could post an HR business partner position and fill that one, obviously coming to this group for permission. Or it would be a promotional opportunity for an HR generalist to move into. So what we did is we looked at a variety of the activities that the HR generalist is completing, and even some duties that went above and beyond basically what an HR generalist typically would be responsible for. So part of it is just really the ever-changing HR landscape. If you have had a chance to look at the job description, a lot of the differences are within the education piece as well as the experience piece. We would be looking for someone with a minimum of 5 years of progressive HR experience. So it would be someone who already has dealt with multiple layers within HR, not just like concentrated on a benefits position or concentrated on a HR payroll position or something like that. It would definitely have been progressing within the HR career. As well, still requiring a degree in either HR or business administration or a related role. And also looking for potential certifications as well as kind of a preferred option. But really, this person would have a working knowledge of HR. They would be able to come on board. They would need little training to really make movement. So with that, I'll answer any questions, but I would be recommending the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee recommend council approval of the HR business partner description with the ability to fill as stated within the memo if there were someone who could promote or if someone were to leave the position.
Move to approve.
Motion by Varsho to approve, I think it's second by Thompson.
Second, yep.
Discussion. Go ahead.
So basically, you're building into human resources 3 layers, but we'll only have 2 people. And the person, depending on who it is that's hired, can, does that work for you to have someone who kind of goes between 2 levels?
I think the nice part will be that there's flexibility. So let's just say, you know, our current HR generalist were to leave, for example, knowing kind of what the needs are and all the activities that we're doing, what would be nice is having the flexibility to look at a wide range of candidates. So maybe there's a really strong person who would fit better in the HR generalist role with the potential to continue to grow. Or maybe we get that person that already has all the experience we're looking for. It gives us a wider range. So it will definitely be an overall bonus for the department for sure.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in,
Oh, yeah, jump in.
discussion, or Andy? Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And maybe just said this and I missed this, I apologize if I did, but what, I mean, 'cause it sounds to me like this is an upgraded position from the HR generalist. What does this permit us to do with filling this role as opposed to keeping an HR generalist?
What do you mean, I guess?
So if we were to fill this role here, what does it let us do that we can't do right now?
Basically, it's just adding that level. So what we can't do right now is the HR generalist is the highest level that there could be in HR besides becoming the director. So this just offers a level of opportunity for either promotion or backfilling a higher qualified candidate.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Is that aye or yes or no, Andy? A little,
That was an aye.
okay, thank you. Okay, and the motion passes unanimously. Next up is the adjourned to closed session under Wisconsin statutes, chapter 19.85, sub 1, sub C, for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Specifically, request for promotion of employee. Have a motion to go into the closed session?
So moved.
Andy moves, second by
Second.
Marshall. Roll call, please.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Varsho,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes,
Weigel.
Yes.
we are in closed session because we said the open session, and we'll open the floor for any action items that may want to be taken from the closed session. Mr. Varsho, would you want to be recognized?
Sure, sir. I will make a motion to promote the HR generalist to the HR business partner position with a pay grade 131 T lane.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by, okay, Tompkins, Rigel also. Okay, the secretary, will please call the roll.
Tompkins,
Yes.
Varsho,
Yes.
Wagner,
No.
Rigel.
Yes.
The passes. Okay, items for future agendas, anybody? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn by Rigel, by Barso, second by Rigel. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.